It's so crazy because today Logan had off. So I'm like, happy Sun. No, it's not Sunday. It's Monday. But I hope you guys have had an amazing weekend. But today I really wanted to focus on more of transforming our mindset on stuff. But the main thing that I really wanted to talk with you guys is, are you limiting your dreams? And so this, what I have for you guys, maybe a little a realization for yourself. This is what I do to help myself when I feel, I don't even want to say struggling, because part of growth is feeling that. It's actually a good thing. And I used to really see it as a negative, and it's not a negative at all. But what I will tell you, right, is I want you guys to think of a word. And I want you to think of a word that someone has a different meaning than you. So I'm going to use an example for me because I live with MS. And so a lot of people within my community, when someone says my MS, they see it as a very negative. And to me, the meaning for myself when I say my MS means I am stronger than my MS, that I am more powerful than my MS. Oh, did I freeze? Hello?
I can still hear and see you, Bobby.
Can you? Oh, okay. You guys are just frozen on my end. So if I freeze, will you guys let me know in the chat? Okay, thank you. Okay, so going back, when people look at as a bad, and so people would snap at me like, oh, you don't say that. Like, you have control over your MS. And I'm looking at them like, well, of course I have control over my MS. And so it kind of got me really thinking. And that's when I really started diving into David Goggins. And I can't remember the guy's name. There's another gentleman. But this is where the whole meaning of words changed for me. And so I started digging into a little bit more. And I'm like thinking about every time when I thought about dreams, going after these dreams that I saw for myself personally, things that I saw for my family, I realized that a little bit of scarcity came about, because I'm like, well, if I don't go after that, then if I don't go after that, what is that going to mean in my future? But if I do go after it and if I fail, what is that going to look like? Because failure growing up can mean a very bad thing. And I am relearning that. And I know each of you are relearning that as well. Because failure is a part of success. Failure is not a negative. It's actually a really good thing, because when you go through those moments, that's when not only are you going to discover more about yourself, but you're also going to discover things that you never thought you would ever think, right? So that gets to my next point, thoughts. Do you ever feel sometimes when you are in a moment and you're like, why am I thinking that? Like, why am I thinking this? I've realized that a lot of our thoughts are not ours. It's a lot of everybody else's thoughts that have become our own, but in reality, it's not ours, right? So when it comes to success and your dreams, the choice always comes down to, what are your emotions and what are your feelings? Because I will tell you, you'll hear a lot of people say, well, all you have to do is take action. Just take action. Well, how do you take action? How do you make that step when you have no idea what to do, right? The part of growth, it takes time. And that's where a lot of people feel stuck, is because sometimes you're going to go through that more than once. And sometimes that can be so heavy that mentally you can't go through it, right? So we have to take our time, but not the time that we're wasting our life away. Because I will tell you, today, it was a big realization for myself that, and especially yesterday being let's see, what was yesterday? Or the day before was my 2-year Thrive anniversary. And today being Laurel's 2-year anniversary, I just thought back like to that moment where I was. And I felt stuck. I felt so trapped, and really scared for what the future held, because barely seeing Logan, living paycheck to paycheck, my kids getting older, them wanting to do more stuff, living in the middle of nowhere, and really wanting to, get out of that and actually start living the life that we want. And we really still live the life that, we want together, even when living in Manila, Utah. Okay. But here it's Logan has weekends off. And today we went down to Panama City, and all 4 of us went swimming with dolphins today. And so if you would have told me 2 years ago when I made that choice that it would bring me to this day, I would have looked at you and probably would have told you, I don't believe you. Like, I can't see it. Why I couldn't see it is because I couldn't believe not only in myself, but I didn't have the mindset. I didn't have the thoughts. I didn't have the words. And because of that, I had to grow. And that's the one thing that we really get stuck in, right? When we're going through the muck of stuff, that we forget where we started. We forget where we're going. And we start listening to the commotion around us like, oh my gosh, holidays are coming. Got to start shopping. Oh, kids are in school. Oh, my job's doing this. All these things start piling up, right? And you feel like, I cannot breathe. But the thing is, you can. You can. The only reason why it's feeling so heavy is because there's so much commotion, so many thoughts going around you that you're letting it become yours. Don't let it become yours. Because when you start drawing that line, those boundaries that we talk in this business, and I will tell you, you're going to mess up. I still mess up. We're human, right? But you have to give yourself grace along the way. But if you don't take the steps that you foresee, okay? I want you to think when you started this business, okay? When I started this business, I did not have big money goals, okay? None. All I wanted was to pay for my daughter's $50 dance fees, okay? And the weekly gas that would get us there and home. That was it. Nothing more. That was it. And so I was like, you know what? If I could do something that could relieve something off of my husband's shoulders versus would pretty much minimize him having to worry about not having to worry about working so much overtime, going on so many details, always volunteering for stuff, right? But it's kind of crazy because of that happening, him getting so much experience in his work actually ended us coming here. And so we didn't know it in the moment. We just hated the fact that we weren't spending time together the way that we wanted. That we pretty much were spending time together in the pockets of time. Just how we do this business, right? One day, however you want this business to look, okay? If it's extra money on the weekend, or if it's being able to pay for groceries or your car payment, or to pay for everything, whatever it is, I will tell you, it is very doable here. Completely doable. But it starts with your mind, starts with your thoughts. And it is really crazy. Laura actually shared this, and it just hit, like, put the cherry right on top, and it was like mind blowing. Like, I hear these things, and you will hear all these things about mindset, taking care of yourself, doing all these things, moving your business forward, okay? But you're going to repeat things over and over until one day you're like, oh my gosh, I get it. And it's like a mind-blowing moment that you're like, okay, this hits different. Like, I get it, right? So in that moment, I want you to realize within your dreams being here, wherever you're feeling this month, okay? If you're feeling like, gosh, I can't get anyone to want Thrive. Like, I can't get anybody to, get a free account. They have like 50 credits, right? Like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I don't have any, but I would tell you guys, I don't have a single person, okay? But I'm gonna tell you something though. I have learned throughout this business that anything can change within a minute going forward, okay? I will tell you that I have been very focused. I have connected with my customers. That is a green check for me. I'm taking care of them. I'm helping them. They are knowing that I'm there for them, but I'm showing up in a way with my audience, seeing things that I want to showcase to them. What has that done? It has sparked more connections than I've ever had before. That is a huge win for me. It is more important to me of building a strong connection and relationship. So when and if when that day comes, when they're like, hey, I see you talking about those 3 steps, that is going to be way more better than be like, hey, do you want to create a free account? No connection bill. I see him watching me for quite some time, right? But I'm not going to go out and be like, hey, do you want this? When we haven't even built anything, okay? So building relationships takes time. Some may be faster, but there are people out there, a lot of them, that are very hesitant. And guess what? That's okay. That's okay. But all of it comes down to here, your mind up here. So I want to do a little exercise with you guys, okay? And we're talking about dreams. So whatever your dreams are, okay? You know, Jess, she just put in, you know, she wants groceries for her family. You guys, we live in a world right now that people are having trouble putting food on the table. Okay? People are struggling to pay for their houses. We hit $1 trillion with credit cards. Okay? That should go to show you there is a problem that is our country is facing here in the US. And there are other people who are ignoring it. Okay. I'm not going to say who. Okay. But people are struggling. There are major layoffs that have happened. Okay. AI is blowing up. Okay. What is that impacting? IT jobs. Okay. IT jobs. What else? Automotive factories. Huge. Okay. And so a lot of people are wanting, you know, second, third, fourth, fifth jobs, however much they can have. So when you're talking to people, when you're showcasing this business, I want you to think about how can you show up and showcase this to them about what you're doing. Okay. You got to share that story. Like Haley's talking, she wants to pay off debt. You have to take people along your story. Okay. When even way before, because the auto bonus, so VIPs and auto bonus were a huge thing to me when I started this business. Okay. I'm like, what? 2 weeks you get like these bonuses, which is we only had the 800 and 1600 when me and Laurel came in. Okay. And so I was like, an auto bonus at the second rank. Like, are you shitting me? Like, this is mind blowing to me. Okay. So I took people along, especially with that auto bonus, through every single week. Every Tuesday, on the second Tuesday of every month, I would talk about it. And I would talk about what my dreams were, how to be helping my family, why it was so important to me, and sharing other people's stories who have achieved that auto bonus every second Tuesday. And I didn't share just always graphics. When I was sharing that, I was using my voice so people could see my facial expressions. Okay. So this exercise I want to do with you guys, when I did this the first time, I got very, very emotional about it because it kind of gave me a realization how much I cared about the goals that I had. You know, like we're moms, wives, like we're practically every single person in this world, right? Aunts, cousins, all of it, right? And so we can really relate in a lot of levels. Like we've had a lot of hurt, we've had traumas in our lives, and we can relate on some capacity, right? But one thing that I want you to do when we're going to go through this exercise is to be really open and really honest with yourself. Okay. So one thing I want you to do is that I want you to close your eyes. Okay. I want you to close your eyes. And so when you're Closing your eyes, I want you to take deep breaths, okay? And I really need you to be honest with yourself during this, okay? I want you to think we're clear in the future, all right? Clear way ahead, okay? And I want you to look back at your young self, okay? When you're a little girl, okay? A really special moment that you had and how proud that you were of her because you were super scared to go after that one thing. It could be from doing nails or a hairstyle or that prom dress, riding horses, whatever it is, that proud moment that you had about yourself that you were so scared to do, but you did it anyways, okay? I want you to go a little bit further ahead in your future. And this could be during a time that's been really rough for you, okay? And you thought you could never make it through. And during this, you found something about yourself. You found something that you were proud of, that you didn't give up on yourself, but you still weren't there yet, okay? But then I want you to think about that you gave up, okay? Because you had a really tough moment in life and you threw it away because you felt trapped, that you felt stuck, and that you didn't feel that you could do it anymore. And you are your future self. And you're looking back at that moment that you feel that you failed at life. And that's where life took a tumble. Okay. On the other hand, I want you to see your dreams absolutely come true. It could be that house, that your kids going off to college that is completely paid for, that it could be your dream home. It could be whatever that those dreams that you have of that peace, that happiness, that life that you want to live. Okay. But I want you to look at the other hand, that life that you gave up, on yourself. The thing is, when I tell you about those thoughts that you have about yourself, it starts with that. Because when you feel that you can't go further ahead anymore, you can. But it's because of those thoughts and those emotions stopped you. When you look on the right side and you see all this happiness and joy and you feel so proud of yourself and you did all these things, okay? But it didn't come true. Why? It's because the girl on the left, the woman on the left, gave up on herself. That woman on the right was meant for you. But that one thought, maybe those hard seasons that you went through, that you couldn't go through it anymore, you just stopped. So I want you to open your eyes. And I want you to know that woman on the right is you. Okay? That woman on the left is going to go through trials. She's going to go through ups and downs and things that she can't believe that God put this in front of her. Okay? But that woman on the right is you. Okay? Every single day when you wake up, you are her. Even through the trials that God puts in front of you, He's doing it for a reason. We might not know that reason. And I will tell you, looking back these last 2 years of all the trials that Logan and I have went through, living paycheck to paycheck, to barely even being able to afford heat because where we lived was $400 a month. Okay. Going through government shutdowns, going through COVID, which we lived in the middle of nowhere and there was nothing. Laurel can probably definitely attest in her location too. There was nothing. And I just kept thinking to myself, when is it ever going to, this weight off of my chest, when is it ever going to lift? When is it ever going to lift? And here we are 2 years later, which is crazy to think 2 years already here. And I want to share something with you that I never really believed that I could do, where I came from before this company. And I want to show you how special our team, our community is. The women that are right here on the screen and who weren't able to join us tonight, they're here for you more than you even realize. But putting that pressure on yourself, don't. What purpose is that going to do, that pressure? It's not good. It might drive you for a little bit, but soon you're going to dig yourself even further in the ground. Lean on each other. Lean. Because without a community, what I have really realized is, yes, you can do things alone. Of course. Like, of course you can. But when you have other women cheering you on and supporting you, there's nothing more powerful than that. I've definitely realized that, especially being in the military and there really is barely any women in there and all men. I will tell you, your circle becomes very close and very small. The majority of the time, you are alone. Okay. But one thing I want you to take away from this is how capable you are and how you don't give yourself enough credit when you do show up on your social media, when you do make that post. Quit second guessing yourself. Okay. Because I have seen some incredible things since this team has been born, basically. Like, of course, we're always going to have trials. We're always going to have ups and downs. That's a part of life, right? But the beauty thing about it is we're never alone. We get to learn. We get to actually understand where we're going. And, now where I told you where I started, I just want to pay for my daughter's dance fees and gas money. And here we are. Like, did I ever think that this business would ever help us put a down payment on a home? No. Did I ever think that my vehicle would be covered? No. Did I ever think going to the grocery store would continue? When I would go to the grocery store, I would always be stressed out. I always thought that was always going to be my forever because that's all I knew. Even since when I was a little girl, growing up with my parents, that's how life was. My grandma would have to, when case locks would hit, my grandma would buy us case locks because we were a family of 6. We could barely even feed our family. And we raised our beef, thank goodness. But I didn't realize anything that was going on because my parents guarded that. But I realized it when I got older. And that hit home really, really deep. But I want you to see, even though it might feel like I'm not meant for this, I'm not good at this, all those thoughts coming in, are they your thoughts? Or is it because someone had a bad day and you're letting that impact yours? Okay. But lastly, I'm going to leave this with you guys, is I want you to think about 2 years ahead from now. 2 years, we'll say a year, okay? A year. What could change? What do you want? Because I will say, going into these holidays, as you guys know, me and Laurel came in right before Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and I will tell you, none of that matters at all when it comes to your business. Zero. It's the way that you are going to show up. How are you going to be opening your business? How are you keeping those conversations going? Creating that community, okay? And all starts with you. So I'm going to leave that with you guys. Laurel, do you want us to add anything, share anything? You're good? Okay, guys. Well, I hope this helped in some type of capacity for you guys. I just really want to showcase that because I never imagined today we would have been swimming with dolphins. Like last night, Logan and I were like, you know what? Like we were just scrolling and he was like, what's around here? And I was like, well, they got like turtles and alligators and they got dolphins. And he was like, oh, you can swim with dolphins. And he looks at me, he's like, let's go swim with dolphins tomorrow. And I was like, what? Like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, why not? Like being able just to do that today never would have crossed my mind 2 years ago, because I would be like gut wrench, like, okay, I'm so scared to look at a bank account. Like, can we afford groceries next week? Can we afford putting gas in the tank? I will tell you, keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it, because someone else out there is needing you. And I have learned that in so many times. It could have been a week after, a month after, 4 months after. But when it happens, you look back and you're like, now I get it. Now I understand why I went through all that. So pay attention to what is going on, because there's a reason for everything. So I love you guys. Don't forget about Monday Huddle in about, what is it, an hour? I'm a little bit, okay, an hour. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for jumping on. Love ya. And catch you guys next time.